I am so freaking tired of hearing the exact same narrative over and over again, Broncos country. How many times are we going to hear from the talking heads that Bo Nix is a bad quarterback? Because ESPN has taken another shot at Bo Nix. Broncos country, welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. And look, I'm just going to keep it 100% with you. I'll always keep it a buck. ESPN continues to disappoint me. They constantly sound incompetent and contradictory of what they're talking about when it comes to the Denver Broncos. Again, I don't want to sit here and be like, everybody's against us. But every time I open up an article about the Denver Broncos, they're always talking some shit about our quarterback. And I'm going to break down in today's episode why I believe what they're saying about Bo Nix is so contradictory that they completely are missing what they're saying. Now, if you're enjoying the breakdowns, if you're enjoying us against the world, you got to do me a favor. You hit that subscribe button. You click the bell icon for me so that you never, ever miss a time that we post a video or a time that we go live. So I'm sure you're wondering, how was ESPN talking all that ish, Moose? Well, there's a guy named Solak. He covers the Denver Broncos for ESPN along with a number of other teams throughout his entire career. And he said this about Bo Nix. Nix is struggling when the game is in neutral scripts. It's a major cause for concern. If the Broncos are playing in tight games, which is likely the case against tough opponents, or the playoffs, Nix isn't his best for the majority of the game. That part is true. However, he then goes on to say these struggles stem from conservative play calling and execution from the offense. Nix has been a game manager for the Sean Payton offense, and while it can lead to wins, it is not sustainable come playoff time. My dude, you literally just contradicted yourself. You said the right thing in the first part of that paragraph. And then the very next breath, you said, this stems from conservative play calling and a lack of execution on offense. Almost as if the problems aren't just Bo Nix, that the Broncos offense has a problem. Bo Nix included, Sean Payton included, wide receiver drops and wide receivers included. It makes no sense to me. In one breath, you can say that Bo Nix is a clear and obvious miss, right? That's what they're saying. And then in the next breath, they're like, well, actually, his misses are stemming from other issues on the offense. Exactly. So it's almost kind of like they all need to work together in harmony to have a good offensive product. And then Colin, who 99.9% of the time is a Sean Payton glazer, loves Sean Payton to the point where I'm like, okay, dude, just dial it back a little. He suggested maybe Sean Payton's thinking about drafting another quarterback. Are you insane? Are you out of your mind? Sean Payton handpicked Bo Nix in that draft. He could have had J.J. McCarthy. He could have traded up to get Michael Penix. He could have traded up to get Jayden Daniels or Drake Maye, and yet he chose to go with Bo Nix. Why? Because he sees what he wants from Bo Nix in the execution of his offense. And at times, Sean Payton's offense gets way too conservative, it gets way too predictable, and it's way too old school. Am I missing something? Producer Colin, am I missing something? Did we just decide now that Bo Nix is awful? Because these media outlets, these NFL outlets, they flip-flop more than pancakes. It's insane to me. Ben Solak goes on. He says this, Nix is still 28th in off-target rate and 29th in completion percentage over expectation on those late down throws. I'll be the first one to admit, third down, the Broncos have sucked this year on offense. On throws of 10-plus more air yards, he is really, really off his game. His off-target rate is dead last among all quarterbacks over the past 2 seasons combined. Those off-target throws aren't turning into just incompletions. Over the last 2 seasons, Bo Nix has had 17 interceptions on throws of over 10 yards down the field, tied with Geno Smith, who we all know is, he's a backup at this point. Let's just completely be honest. Let's keep it a buck. So let's now break it down, because as you've seen, now the ESPN writers are saying Bo Nix is the biggest problem. In fact, that article was titled, "The Broncos Might Have a Bo Nix Problem." which is absolutely ludicrous to me considering we're 8-2, and Bo Nix has absolutely shined in the fourth quarter and had moments where he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, before we break down what I see from Bo Nix, what I believe he stands or where he stands in his 2024 quarterback class, and an amazing graphic to one high-ranking NFL quarterback, I got to tell you about my friends over at Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, and you're going to like what I have in my most recent lineup that I made. But you could pick the same player up to 3 times in the exact same lineup. If you wanted to pick more on Bo Nix's passing yards, rushing yards, or touchdowns, you can now do so in the exact same lineup only on Prize Picks. It takes 30 seconds to make a lineup, and the lineup that I created for Thursday Night Football is easy. Breece Hall, less on the rushing yards, obviously, and then stacking it up with my guy Drake Maye. Yours can look just like mine, but it doesn't have to. If you want to copy mine directly, go to the feed tab and copy my lineup in just one click. All you have to do is download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. So let me ask you a hypothetical question, Broncos country. Could a really bad quarterback lead the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks and fourth quarter touchdowns? Oh, wait a minute. Bo Nix is first in fourth quarter touchdowns with 9 above Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff. Sounds pretty clutch to me. Now, like I said, where does Bo stand amongst his peers? We have to compare him not to Patrick Mahomes or to Josh Allen yet. Wink, wink, foreshadowing. But what we can do is say, in the 2024 draft class, how does he stack up against all the other guys that were taken either ahead of him or right behind him in J.J. McCarthy? Well, let's talk about this. Caleb Williams, first one off the board. He's a momentum quarterback. In fact, the ESPN talking heads, not just 3 or 4 weeks ago, were saying that Caleb Williams might get benched for Tyson Bagent. Then Jayden Daniels, one that we saw a lot of early success with, touted him as the next Lamar Jackson. Well, now he's injured for the 4th time in 1.5 seasons. Drake Maye, who notably is having an unbelievable season, has the easiest schedule, according to ESPN, in the entire NFL. Then we get to our guy Bo, who I have said multiple times has been wildly inconsistent. Michael Penix Jr. is a statue inside of the pocket. He can't move and has arguably a worse completion percentage in the pocket than Bo Nix does. And then J.J. McCarthy, I think we can all see from the eye test, is not a special talent. So even if he does become a franchise quarterback, he's very limited in what he can do in the Kevin O'Connell offense. So it almost seems to me that every single quarterback that is not even finished with year 2 yet, and in some cases hasn't even completed a full year of NFL football, every single quarterback has a problem. And yet, who's got the most wins out of all of those quarterbacks? Bo Chapman-Nix. Who's got the most touchdowns out of all of those quarterbacks? Bo Chapman-Nix. And when you watch Bo Nix play, sure, you can be really frustrated with the quarters 1 through 3 Bo. But when the game actually matters, when the game comes down to it, and you're watching them on television, and the fourth quarter comes in, and the Broncos are down by 7, there is one player on that team that you trust more than anybody, and that's 10. So other Broncos outlets, media members, social media fans, are also seeing the same thing that I do. Yes, it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. But what do you see from Bo Nix? He's a second-year quarterback that's a winner, a leader. He's fearless. He's excellent at returning after he throws a pick. That guy's mental toughness is insane. And he's a student of the game. He's constantly learning and evolving from Sean Payton. He's still the guy. I believe in him just like Strez believes in him. Everybody should believe in Bo Nix, even if the product isn't perfect. Now, would we be saying the same thing if this was year 5 or year 6? No. but he's not even fully done with his second full year in the NFL. Give the guy a little bit of grace. Well, Moose, that's not fair. You got to compare him to the very best in the league because this Broncos team is so good. If they had somebody that was a ridiculous talent, wouldn't this team be a Super Bowl favorite? Sure, maybe you could look at it like this, but I will remind you that Patrick Mahomes is an outlier. Joe Burrow is an outlier. Let's go and talk about developing a quarterback for a second. I broke down Bo Nix's first 27 starts in the NFL to this mystery quarterback's first 30 starts in the NFL. So Bo Nix has more passing yards, passing touchdowns, less interceptions, higher passer rating than this mystery quarterback in the NFL. Producer Cullen, if you wouldn't mind doing the honors, drum roll please. Who is that mystery quarterback? Oh, it's Josh Allen. Wait a minute. Timeout. Josh Allen through 30 starts has worse numbers than Bo Nix. Bo Nix is winning more games than Josh Allen. Are you saying that you would have been out on Josh Allen? Should the Bills have quit on Josh Allen? Could you imagine if they did? Let's take the Colin Cowherd approach. Should the Bills go out and draft another quarterback? Or maybe, just maybe, give him a little bit more time to develop? Oh, wait a minute. Who won last year's MVP, Colin? Yeah, that's right. It was Josh Allen. So that's just a little sidebar for you. I'm so tired of hearing all of this negative press around Bo Nix and saying, yep, he's not the guy. He's not good. Nick Wright literally called him bad at football. You're out of your mind. You're not watching the games. Operationally, it gets frustrating. But I have been the one vocalizer for this team that I'm not just frustrated with Bo. I'm frustrated with everybody. I'm frustrated with Sean. I'm frustrated with Cortland. I'm frustrated with Troy Franklin and Evan Ingram. I am upset and at times livid with the Broncos offense. And I get it. It's 2025. It's a quarterback-driven league. So ultimately, the quarterback gets blamed for everything. Before we take on off out of here, if you still love Bo Nix, hit that thumbs up icon. And if you made it to the very end of today's video, you're a real one. So type me in the comments after you hit that thumbs up icon. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to subscribe to the channel. Mile high salute to you, Broncos country. Be cool.